Sport too.
Well, we were.
I also have a trivia question for you that I think you're gonna have fun with.
We're live, just so you know. I don't want. So enough with all the misogyny and the racist talk, Larry. We're live right now. Hello, everyone, and I'm kidding.
We're going live.
Man,
we're live.
We're live. Yeah. So don't
no intro today. How come
people.
no intro? No intro.
No, we'll have an intro. The intro is us talking about. This is our cold open.
Oh,
that was an embarrassment.
Tease. Oh, this is the tease.
I wanted some Viva Las Vegas vibes going, and instead, here's one thing, Larry. I want every person who's been bitching and whining to me about the GP 2 minutes, shut the F up. When I sit here and tell you something that the Warriors are doing wrong, don't come back and bring feelings into this. Don't bring sentimentality into this. GP 2 was good 3 years ago. He is a stain on this roster now. Every minute he plays out there hurts the Warriors. He cost them this game. I know people are looking at Steph and Dre and all sorts of players. Pajemski will certainly get some scoring, but this game wasn't close without those guys. This game would have been fine if GP2 was never in it. That's the difference between all of them. And Larry, we're going to break this down. It's the Krug Show. It's Golden Days. I'm fired up. I don't know about you. This was an embarrassment. This was a bad loss.
Look at that. Golden Days in the Krug Show.
Yes, sir.
In a merger.
Sir.
A merger.
Oh, that's a merger I can sign up for, man. Don't shoot these CEOs, dude. We're not hurting you, I promise. We're here for a good time. Let's get into it. It's the Golden Days. It's the Krug Show, baby.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. And things suck. Woo!
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. Cause I get what I want and I like what I see.
Oh, Brandon, what are you doing out there? GP2, what are you doing out there? Larry Kruger, you the man, dog! Welcome to the Krug Show. Welcome to Golden Days. Larry, who's paying your bills, brother? Love you, man. How are you doing tonight?
I love you too, brother. Everything's going good, dude. It's been a great night. Of course, got Niners Rams tomorrow. I'm fired up for that. But the Krug Show is brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out. So get there early. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. They're great people. Tell them that Krug sent you. Get some brisket. Get some brisket.
What time does it run out typically, Larry? Because first of all, to me, the difference between a fraud and a true, genuine barbecue is what you just said. A genuinely good barbecue runs out of that damn good brisket. So what's the ballpark for when?
I would say, don't get there after like 5:30 and thinking you're getting like a whole ton of brisket. You're just, because I mean,
good advice.
I would say get there earlier than that. But yeah, it's a great spot. The food's amazing. The people are amazing. Go check them out. Pig and a Pickle. And of course, we're brought to you as well tonight by Mancini's. Mancini's Sleep World is a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. They offer 120-night guarantee. They've got a range of brands and price points. And if you click the link below, we have linked it for you. Or go to sleepworld.com. You can find a bed that works for you. So whether you shop online or visit in store, use the code KRUG10 and you're getting 10% off. Just Beautiful. Across the board, 10% off, just because you know me. KRUG10, KRUEG 10, and you'll get 10% off in any of the Mancini's locations or online at sleepworld.com.
I hope you're getting a commission as well. You deserve it. You're earning it if that's true. But 10% off, man. What is that, like $300?
10% off. Yeah, I mean, it could be,
on a $3,000 bed, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, saving $3 just because you know me.
Bravo. Is that it? You have a card? You have a trading card place too, right?
Yeah, since I'm going to see him tomorrow as well, but Sharp Corners, Sports Cards and Collectibles, the great Anthony Catania is a supporter of the show. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove. So if you're down in the Monterey Peninsula area, go see Sharp Corners, Sports Cards and Collectibles. The great Anthony Catania is at 831-521-5264. He's a big-time Niner fan, and he will be there tomorrow. And he says he's got a Christmas present for me, so thank you.
Oh, hey now. Is he a Warriors fan or just Niners? Is it just
no
a football
Warriors,
guy?
Giants, Niners, and he's got a sports card and collectible business, and it's a fantastic. He started it because of a tragedy that happened in his family with one of his children, and so it's just I'm so happy to be associated with Anthony and Sharp Corners, and so if you're down in Pacific Grove, check them out. And they have a very cool thing in the summer months where they do kind of a sidewalk deal with food and music and everything, all the vendors down there. So very cool. Sharp Corners, sports cards, and collectibles.
By the way, look at how morbid the chat is already, Larry. Stephen Wu saying, golden days are over for the Golden State Flubs. Dude, they did not even have Wiggins in this game. And they're saying this pathetic team is going to miss the playoffs. Oh, it is not doom and gloom. It's just a frustrating night.
Look at Julian. Julian right here at 929, Cy. He says, Kruger's prediction, more and more looking good with Kerr's antics. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
929. Oh, here we go. Right here.
Julian liked that.
Yeah, you predicted 38 wins.
Said 38 wins. It seemed really negative at the time. Now it's starting to be just a little pessimistic.
There's still 4 games above 500, folks. I'm not. If anything, the Warriors barely lost a game they absolutely should have won to the second best team in the Western Conference, a team they've already beaten twice. That is not a game you throw in the white flag on the season for. With that said, we're going to talk about a lot of frustrating things that did happen, but I got to give some love real fast to my sponsor at the moment, and that is not at the moment, but one of them at the moment. Hopefully there'll be more soon. Bet Online. They continue to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. I was on this morning with our mutual buddy Damon Bruce, and I told the audience the Warriors plus 2.5 looks good. I feel bad for folks who took the money line. I didn't say lock it down. I wasn't feeling great about it, but if my hand was forced, that's what I would have rolled with, man. And I'm so sorry for if you laid money on the Warriors on the money line, because the way that game ended, it looks like the refs bet the other way. That foul was egregious. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But look, the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, college hoops, NHL, UFC, and so much more. Head to Bet Online today, and don't forget to use the promo code, which is BELIEVE, the name of the network, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. Larry, what happened at the end there that resulted in the Warriors losing a game that was back and forth? The Warriors were getting their butts kicked early in this game. They trailed at the half. I believe they were trailing at the half by 7. Then they have an awesome third quarter. They start the fourth quarter with 1-point lead, and they lose this game in heartbreaking fashion in a manner that, again, this was a game they should have won, is how I take it. And we'll explain why they lost. But your immediate reaction to a brutal 91-90 loss.
Well, the beautiful part about being on YouTube is, we're a little bit more free than we were on the radio. And I guess I would start with GP2. What the fuck?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You don't need to do anything. Hold on to the ball. And he just threw it away. There was no reason for that. Just, who cares? Who cares if they get the jump ball? It's like, instead, you just turn it into another loose ball situation, and then everybody goes for it, and you get the unlucky call. But here's the other one that just beyond galling, because Payton, that was a bad decision, but he's making that decision just split second. But the one thing I think all pro athletes, regardless of sport, can agree upon is that just be consistent. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to call it one way, call it that way, we'll adjust. You're going to call it this way, we'll adjust. Just be consistent. And it wasn't. They let everything go in this game. This game, they swallowed the whistle in this game. There was guys hacking each other left and right on both sides.
Yes.
Nothing was called tonight. They were the most laissez-faire, hands-off officiating crew all night long. And then they inject themselves into the last sequence.
Yeah, even Kerr, did you see Kerr's reaction? Like, he just was so dumbfounded. And I don't blame him, man.
That's so inconsistent from
It
how the
is.
game was officiated the rest of the time. So that's what's really, really the most galling is that where's the consistency?
Yeah.
Come on. Where is the consistency? You basically called nothing a foul all night, and then Kuminga gets a foul on that with the game on the line. I mean, come on. I mean,
was it Kuminga who got called for that last foul?
Yeah.
Is that who they regard?
Yeah, it was Kuminga. Because Kuminga because he wasn't going for the ball with two hands. He had one hand, and when you go in for one hand, it's a foul, basically.
And just to fill people in case they didn't watch that final play or they heard it on the radio, basically there was a loose ball scrum. The last play of the game originally started with GP2 getting an offensive rebound. Huge. There's about 3 seconds left on the clock at that point. The Warriors are up by 1. All he has to do is call a timeout. That's all you have to do. Call a timeout. Game's over. You win. Plain and simple. And I understand it was like a split-second moment.
Or even if he gets a jump ball. Sorry, it's 3.5 seconds left. Even a jump ball situation, you have the lead.
Worst comes to worst, yes. But you mentioned the fact that it's a split-second moment. There's chaos. With that said, like that's one of those mental mistakes that, at least from look, I didn't play anywhere near that level, but the levels I did play at, that was harped at us. Like from the beginning, don't make mental mistakes. Be prepared every possession. GP2 should have known better, man. That was a foolish mistake.
And watching it again, I just watched it just now again because I'm watching the post game with Festus and Bonte and Mully. Just watching it again, I mean, Kuminga had basically one hand on the ball, but unfortunately, it also was across the head of Green, and that wasn't a bad foul call. It's just the situation there. You've been hands off the whole game. It's like, oh my god.
Just to
call the jump ball there at least.
And just to finish up the description, there was basically when GP2 decided not to call a timeout, what he does instead is try to make a pass while he's on the ground, which you don't do either. That is ridiculous. And that pass results in a scrum. And in that scrum with Jalen Green got on the ball first, and then you have I thought Looney was the one who got called for the foul because I saw him in there. I guess Kuminga did, like you said. But people are fighting for the ball. You never see fouls called in that situation. Rarely, if ever. I was expecting a jump ball, if nothing else, because you have multiple hands on the ball. For the ref to call a foul in that situation, egregious, Larry. I agree with you.
And then I gotta call Steve out too. It's like,
please,
Steve, it's not making sense to have pods at the end of games when he can't shoot it. I mean, he made a big 3 tonight. That was a big one. Yeah. But I mean, he really has been struggling shooting it. His 3-point shot is brutal. He hit the bottom of the backboard the other day.
I saw that.
I mean, it was brutal.
Yeah,
it is brutal. I mean, that's like a shot I would take. But I mean, it's like you have him out there at the end of games, and it's like, no. I mean, it's just he's not a shot maker, and he doesn't have enough length to finish inside. So what is he doing? I like him too. He's got a good basketball IQ and he rebounds. But you know what? He shouldn't be in there at the end because he can't score going to the bucket, and he really can't. You don't want him shooting on the perimeter. Yeah. So I mean, what is he in there for? Ricochets and loose balls. And by the way, this game felt like it was from hell, and it looked like they were playing in hell. I mean, watching them on that red floor, I mean, that was the most atrocious offensive floor I've ever seen.
The courts are bad. But
this one tonight was the worst of all time. Red?
It was bad. It was bad. But look, Podziemski, he should have come down with the rebound at the end there. For folks who weren't paying attention, like if he had come down with that rebound, and look, I know he's fighting 3 or 4 other dudes to get it. He instead just kind of swats it out of bounds. But if your MO is rebounding, grab the rebound, because your MO right now is not shooting. And here's the reason why. Look, I mean, the chat's on fire right now. Here's the biggest reason, Larry, why I point to GP2 and not to Jonathan Kuminga, who one person in the chat is just being absolutely ignorant, criticizing him. Jonathan Kuminga led the team in scoring tonight. 20 points and 7 rebounds in this game. He was 8 of 20 from the field. That's almost 50%. I don't know why somebody's criticizing that. That's almost 50% shooting. That's fine.
He's the best young player on the team.
Don't credit, dude. He led the team in scoring. So the point is, Kuminga, if he doesn't play, it's not close at the end. If Stephen Curry, who did make some mistakes at the end, if he doesn't play, he finished with 19 points. He's shooting 8 of 17 from the field, 3 of 9 from 3. Those aren't like outstanding, but they're not bad. Those are fine. So my point is, if regardless of who you want to point a finger to, whether it's Kuminga for making that foul at the end, whether it's for Stephen Curry for being passive, committing turnovers, letting a shot clock expire, which by even his standards is pretty wild that he did that. If you want to blame Draymond Green, his defense is the only reason they stayed close. Otherwise, Sengun, however you pronounce his name, because we found out tonight everyone's been calling it wrong apparently. Sengun's going out of control if not for Draymond's defense. But what the hell is GP2 doing out there? His numbers tonight, just to give you some perspective, besides the fact that he only scored 4 points, besides the fact that defensively he's no longer anywhere near the elite level he used to be, his net rating tonight is minus 14, meaning when he's out there, they got outscored by 14 points. No one else on the team, the next lowest net rating tonight was -5 by Kyle Anderson, who played 3 minutes and change. Gary Payton played 18 minutes in this game. It's inexcusable, man. I've been saying this for months, and people make me feel guilty about it because of past accomplishments from 3 years ago. Enough. Stop pretending that those minutes are not a complete waste, and in this case tonight, cost them the game. Literally.
Well, I mean, let's just get back to using Gary the way Gary was meant to be used, I think, which is off the bench as a defender on the other team's hottest perimeter player. Period. That's what you do with him. You play him on, when you should view him like, I'm going to shut somebody down. Like, who do I want to shut down tonight? He's tenacious. He's long. He's a great defender. Anything else you get from him on the offensive end, to me, is just like he should only score in the flow. And I like him scoring inside, believe it or not. I like him more like throw him the lob and get him involved. Don't let him dribble because he's a turnover machine if he dribbles. He's more of a finisher. He's a jumper finisher. But he shouldn't start. He started. He shouldn't be playing 18 minutes.
No.
He probably should be just a defensive player. But I mean, that play at the end was just brutal. I mean, he acted like he was being harassed. Dude, you've been playing basketball for a long time. I mean, that was unbelievable that he got kind of, caught up in that moment, considering what level he's played at, how many NBA games he's played. That aside, there's a bigger issue here beyond Gary. I love Gary. Gary's one of the best guys of all time.
As a person, absolutely right.
I love him on the team, and I love him as a guy. He's like one of my favorite players. He's just stop asking a role player to start and play 18 minutes.
And finish.
Exactly. He's a role player, and Podziemski, in my mind, is a role player. Those guys, in my mind, shouldn't finish. But the bigger issue is the Warriors can't finish. The Warriors need another big-time player.
Big time.
Not because, for any other reason. They got to consolidate this roster. They got a lot of different guys. Move a couple of these assets. Get another finisher player because they can't finish. I mean, Buddy Hield's nice. Curry's older at this point. Kuminga, strong going to the hoop. Otherwise, they don't have a lot of for sure offense. So I would, the other thing I didn't like, it's like, Steve, seriously, you're calling plays for Podziemski and Waters while Steph is on the floor? I mean, what are we doing there? I mean, at that point, I felt like they feel like they've lost their way a little bit when you're kind of looking like you're calling plays for Waters and Pods when you have Steph out there. That happened in this game. But the other thing is they got to consolidate and make a move because they need they got shut out in the final 2 minutes of this game, and it's happened like 4 times this year.
Correct,
so
correct.
It's like they can't finish in the fourth. And they don't really have, because they don't have that star power. I think they got to move a couple of these average guys for one really good, somebody they can really depend on. And that will be their ticket to getting, closer to 50 wins and maybe a run at a ring.
In the super chat here, Carson dropping $1.99 twice. Thank you, sir. First of all, saying that Fred VanVleet literally jumped on GP2 but that Stephen Curry should have waited. I elaborate on that, please, unless Larry, you follow along with what he means there. And then the second chat for Buck99 saying we desperately lack athleticism. Here's one of the reasons why, Larry, I'm not panicking after tonight. And I do agree with you 100%. This team needs to make a deal. And I hope Dennis Schroeder is not the only trade they make, man, because that's just more. I mean, look, they get better, but they're not winning a championship if that's
we
your
got
only
to
play.
talk about. We got to talk about the trade deadline.
We
We
will,
got to
yes,
talk
we
about some of
will.
these trade candidates because
100%.
this has been a big week for rumors.
Agreed. But what I want to say real fast is if Wiggins plays tonight, and I've never heard of an ankle infringement or impingement. I'm sorry. That is according to the NBA injury report. Andrew Wiggins missed another game because of ankle impingement, a word I'd honestly never heard of until this. And I looked it up, and it refers to like two joints rubbing together, causing pain. My point is, I've had reconstructive ankle surgery on both my ankles, and I feel like I've missed less time playing than Andrew Wiggins because of an ankle injury. Regardless, if he wasn't missed tonight, do you think they still lose this game? Because that would have solved a lot of issues if Wiggins had played. And that's a huge reason why I'm not panicking as much as some people are. But your thoughts on the fact that Wiggins, his absence probably made a huge difference tonight.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot. I mean, some people would say, oh, man, you guys are hypocritical because you've talked about making trades that involving Wiggins. And now you're saying, oh, man, he wasn't there. But it's like if you're going to trade Wiggins, you're going to get something back. If you just take him off your team and you get nothing back, which is essentially what tonight was, right? It's a different situation altogether.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Wiggins is one of how many guys in this team would you actually say are in the prime of their career? I mean,
at the prime, that's a great question, Larry, because it might,
not very
Wiggins,
many.
who?
Trace Jackson Davis, a little young. I would say probably.
I think that's it.
Maybe.
Pat Spencer, maybe.
No, I would throw Kuminga and Moody and Wiggins would be guys that I think are in the prime years of their career.
Yeah, well, Kuminga, I would say, is getting he's not even there yet. That's the only reason why I don't list him now.
This is his third year in the league. Usually it's year 3. It's year 2, 3, 4, 5. It's different for every player, but I don't think they've got. There's a lot of teams that have a lot of players in their prime. I think the Warriors have a few. They got some young guys. They've got some older players. They've got some role players. But they just seem like there's been a lot of talk this week about different names, and some of them are really exciting and some of them are terrifying.
We'll cover the trade stuff extensively because, Larry, just yesterday I did an entire episode where I busted out not one but 2 trade machines and went through all the lottery teams. I'm not looking at the teams like Memphis, for example, because someone in the chat that show mentioned Salty Aldama, for example. And my response was, look, great name. I know you love him, Larry, but in a season like this where it's a buyer's market, you're not trying to make deals where you have to give up important assets when there are plenty of fantastic players out there available for practically nothing. This is not the year to trade where you're giving up important pieces. Hold on to your important pieces. Trade the assets that are expiring deals like Melton, GP2, maybe Kevon Looney because he's also an expiring deal, and throw in a draft pick so that way you keep the nucleus of your team intact and you're adding another fantastic piece to that. We'll happily do that. I want to give Carson Taylor some love real fast because I now understand his logic. And Larry, I get it. What he's trying to say is that they call the foul on Kuminga, I guess, on that scrum with the ball on the floor, and Jalen Green
hit foul. It was a foul. I looked at it again. It was a foul. He had him around the neck, around the head.
But literally 2 seconds before that, when GP2 stupidly did not call a timeout, what Carson is saying is that he got fouled by Fred VanVleet when he was on the floor.
No doubt.
And they didn't call that. And I agree. That's the officials have been just insane all year, man. I can't wait for robots to put these people out of business because they're a fraud, dude. Who knows how many of these guys are cheating? If one gets caught, who knows how many are still doing it? I want them gone, man. I want robots.
Well, I don't. There's a difference between incompetence and cheating. I'm not suggesting anybody's cheating. I don't have any evidence to that.
I say it could. Of course, I'm not ruling it out.
I also, interviewed Donahue.
Yes.
and I've interviewed him about his book, and I've talked to him before, and he was involved and made like 350 phone calls that were documented to another NBA official, and he was the only one who was dumped.
And that guy still, what's that guy? It wasn't Foster, was it?
I forget the other official's
name.
I
forgot the name, but he's still officiating.
Still officiating. So it's like, you know what? And David Stern described Donaghy as a rogue, isolated criminal. How convenient.
Right. Yeah.
Not only was he a terrible criminal, but he worked alone. He had no cohorts. Nobody was with him in this. Yeah,
whoops.
Beautiful.
Digital Drew saying it was Scott Foster. Sasha Jones confirming that and he's still officiating. He wasn't there tonight. We had the I don't know
maybe these are just late night phone friends.
How would you describe
what do you guys think? Do you guys think late night phone friends or gambling situation? I would say
you got mobsters involved. You got criminals involved. What are they talking about?
What are they talking about late at night? Hey man, how's your family? They're doing great. They're doing great. In fact, we just saw them on Thanksgiving. How's your family? Oh, they're doing amazing. Are you kidding me? Johnny just got a bike.
How would you describe the dialect of tonight's official though? Because I don't know if effeminate is the right way to describe it, but do you know what I'm talking about? You heard him speak, correct?
Donaghy?
No, the guy who officiated tonight's game.
Oh, no, I don't know. The guy, who was on the mic where Fitz was like complimenting him. He is the best.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's great. That's all we need is these guys to have like routine and like now they've got like a rep on how they speak and everything. It's like, I don't care if these guys were all mute, totally mute. I don't need to hear from them at all. His delivery there was outstanding.
Yeah, well, because he talks weird. Did you hear him?
His diction was spectacular.
Yeah. But this guy tonight he has like an effeminate, like I can't tell if it's like a the Senator Lindsey Graham, if he has that kind of like, well, the foul on that play tonight was the fouls on number 23, Draymond Green. It was not a flagrant foul. It was a clean foul. Like, does that sound like him a little bit? I don't know if it does, but it was weird. And that's,
what can we say? Maybe he thinks we talk weird.
Bill M dropping $5 saying Gary Payton only needed to hold the ball until they called the jump ball on him. You're right. You're
exactly. In fact, that was hey, look, you're on the floor. Everybody knows the rules of basketball. Okay. You're on the floor. You get the ball. What do you have? You have 5 seconds. Now you can call timeout, but you also have 5 seconds before anything, right? You got 5 seconds. You can sit there for 5 seconds. There was only 3 seconds left. All he's got to do is just hold on to the ball. Just sit there and hold on to it. Wait, if somebody else wants to grab it 2.5 seconds in, great. We'll have a jump ball with 1 second left with us with the lead. I'll take that. He didn't have to do anything.
No.
He could just be, and he would have been fine. But instead, he quickly, aggressively threw the ball into another kind of loose ball situation. So the Warriors went from having possession of the ball to nobody had possession of the ball, and then all of a sudden it's a scrum again. And that was his mistake. But that's not the issue tonight. The issue that we should get out of tonight is that the Warriors don't have the right mix to finish. That's like the 4th time we've seen them totally shut out at the end of games. It used to be you could rely on Steph and Clay and Wiggins and whatever else they had. Now they need more juice if they're going to. I mean, they got off to a hot start, and a lot of people were talking big. If you want to, have them back that up, you better add to this mix, or a lot of you guys are going to look pretty stupid. A lot of people are like, "Oh man, they're going to win titles." I heard that the last few weeks. Unless Dunleavy goes and adds some significant pieces right now, you're all going to look really bad in a few months because they're not going to be. They're going to fade unless they change the mix here. And if I was Dunleavy, I'd be aggressive. And I'd try to bring in multiple players, and I would try to move out multiple players. I want to change this mix because it's the right time to, if you do it well, and I kind of have confidence that he can. I kind of like Dunleavy. I'm eager to see these next moves because I got a feeling that they're going to make this team quite a bit better. I really believe that. I love the idea of Cam Johnson if they could get him.
Love. I don't love the idea of just Dennis Schroeder. Like if that ends up being the
I like
deal.
Schroeder, though. I like Schroeder.
I like him, yeah. But again, if it's just him, because my fear is that the Warriors are going to flip, Melton's expiring, and then throw like something else in there, a Guy Santos or who knows, and get Dennis Schroeder and say, we won. That's not going to cut it, man. That's not going to be enough. There's got to be another move besides that. I hope there is something else besides just Dennis Schroeder, but that is my great fear. Henry Braxton, by the way, dropping $5 in the chat to bring up another point late in this game that cost the Warriors, and that was Stephen Curry with the shot clock winding down, and the Warriors were having problems there at the end. There were 4 turnovers down the stretch. I think 2 of them were shot clock violations, maybe even 3, but Stephen Curry did not have to take that 3. You're absolutely right. The Warriors did not set up any form of offense, and then the shot clock winds down. Steph forces a 3 up that if it goes in, game's over. He misses, unfortunately, and has set up the GP2 offensive rebound that he should have just held on to, and the rest is history. Larry, your thoughts on Steph pulling the trigger there? Probably not the best way to handle that possession. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. I mean, I just think that overall, Steph is just kind of showing his age a little bit. I mean,
is he being double teamed every possession at 36? Yeah. And so he's showing it more than maybe he would if he had some help on the team. What do you think?
I don't know. It just seems like situations he used to be able to dribble out of now he's more bogged down by. But I mean, it's just he feels like he needs to do more. But he just had some off nights. I mean, this is a guy who's played a lot of basketball, and some nights he's going to have it, some nights he's not going to have it. He was 8 of 17 tonight, 3 of 9 from
which isn't awful. I mean, it's not awful. It's good enough. It's good enough. You're right. It's not like Hall of Fame level type, Steph we're accustomed to, but it wasn't the greatest decision. It's crazy though. The Warriors finished this game scoring just 90 points. So offense clearly has to be a point of discussion, even if Houston's one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. Larry, the Warriors scored their point number 90 at the 3:03 mark of this game. There were 3 minutes, 3 seconds left. Jonathan Kuminga, who had a lot of issues from the free throw line, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. That was his blemish in this game tonight. But Kuminga makes a three-pointer at the 3:38 mark, makes this game 89-82. Most people are a Dub Nation, I imagine, feeling with having jubilation at this point. Later on, Kuminga gets fouled. He makes the second free throw, scores 90-84 with 3:03 remaining. Again, you're thinking to yourself, this game's under control. Viva Las Vegas. They never scored again. That was it. And like you said, dude, these late game droughts are a massive problem, dude.
Well, then here's another one that really kind of was annoying in this game. Kuminga missed 4 free throws. I mean, you got to make your free throws.
You're right. You're right.
You can't miss 4. You can't miss 4. You took 6, you made 2, and you missed 4.
Well, just to add to that, they only had 9 free throw attempts total, and the fact that they missed 5 of them, Kuminga's responsible for 4 of those 5. The 5th, as weird as the sound, was Stephen Curry missing a free throw as well, which rarely, if ever, happens. You're right, dude. That's something he has to get better at. This is I mean,
you might get benched in high school if you missed 4 free throws, for a game. I mean, that's just too many. Also, 22 turnovers, that hurt. The Warriors typically they're winning the Warriors recently this year, they're winning on the fast break points. Tonight they lost 12-8. They're winning on the second chance points. Tonight they lost 12-9. They're winning on the points in the paint. Tonight they were minus 18 points.
Yeah, and that's Wiggins. A lot of that is Wiggins. Wiggins is someone who, him and Kuminga are your 2 biggest paint scorers. And when he's out, that stat starts to become very glaring. And it's all the more reason why Kuminga is valuable. It is a shame he missed those free throws, man, because it would have been a great night otherwise. He did lead the team in scoring tonight with 20. Again, 20.7 rebounds, 8 of 20 shooting you can happily live with. That's nearly 50%. 2 of 6 shooting from 3 you can live with because that's 33%. Same as Steph, who also had 33% of his free throws. But you're right, dude, 22 turnovers. If you have the box score in front of you, Larry, do you want to list off which Warriors were most guilty of those turnovers? Because there's a few names in here to pick up.
Green had 5.
Oh, yeah. And
Green had 5.
he tries to do those
Lindy
flashy
Waters
passes.
had 3. And Payton had 2. Those were the big culprits. But this Rockets team's really deep. Huh? I was looking at all the guys that didn't play. Reed Shepherd
did not play.
Reed Shepherd is good.
Cam Whitmore is not even playing, and he's damn good. Like, you're
some pretty good players. Steven Adams is on this team. I didn't even realize Steven Adams was on that team.
You missed him the last 2 times, or the last game. I think he missed the first one, but
I like Aaron Holiday too. Aaron Holiday's a good basketball player. You know, all of the Holiday brothers are good, but I think he's kind of underrated. It's a good team. Sengun or whatever, Sengun.
They just Ernie Johnson of TNT
26 and 11 tonight. I mean, 5 assists. Good. I mean, he's really good. The Draymond takedown on him was violent. Man, that thing. I thought he was going down I thought he was going to tear his knee out or something.
I love that he did that though. I love that he did that because Draymond's entire mission on that foul was you're not getting a bucket. He was going to get an easy bucket. Draymond's like, you're not getting shit, and all he did was wrap around him. I mean, he didn't really do anything that. Thankfully, they didn't call the flagrant, but you're right. It was a hard foul, and I liked it. But the 5 turnovers, man, and a lot of those were just Dre. Like what Dre does for these turnovers, and it's frustrating, is he tries to be flashy, right? Like he'll try to do these no look passes. He'll try to do these behind the back passes. When the Warriors had the roster they had 5 years ago, and during the peak of the dynasty, you could get away with doing stuff like that. There's no room for error now, man. He's got to cut that down. 5 is bad.
So,
you want to talk about trades? Are we there?
Well, no. I mean, I was just, to me, they had won 15 in a row against the Rockets. Did you realize that? 15 in a row.
A lot of that was since 2020. I mean, that's where the streak started. The Rockets have been a bad team, and then it's amazing what a good coach will do. Ime Udoka is a fantastic head coach, and they put together just a deep team there. That's also the benefit of having a lot of lottery picks year after year, right? You suddenly get Sengun. Well, Sengun technically wasn't a lottery pick, but you loved him. I want the audience to know this, by the way. Back in 2021, when you were clamoring for the Warriors to draft Sengun, who went, I think, 17th or 18th, and the Warriors picked Moses Moody ahead of him. Imagine, that's a huge what if, bro. I mean, if the Warriors had Sengun at this point, my lord, it would have been a whole different story.
Hey, I like Sengun. They like Smiley-Geach. There you go. Maybe I should put a T-shirt and start selling that on the Krug Show store. I like Sengun. They like Smiley-Geach. And then on the back, it just says Nepotism Warriors or something like that. Has a picture of the kids. Smiley-Geach is going to be something, or they liked Justinian Jessup, and I like
that was a bad one. That was a bad one. Nico Mannion is still a Golden State Warrior.
Nico Mannion, right? The curls on Nico. Enjoy Italy. No, he's back. No, is he back? Where's Nico?
Oh no, he's still in Europe. Yeah, I don't know if he's still in Italy. He's bouncing around out there, but he sure does look a lot. He sure does look a lot like Podziemski, doesn't he? Like in terms of game, haircut.
I think Podziemski's got more game than Nico, but the Warriors, maybe that's their type. But no, one thing I think that was an interesting stat that I saw in the pregame. Buddy Hield. When Buddy Hield scores 18 or more, the Warriors this year are 8-0. When he doesn't, now after tonight, they're 6-10. How about that?
Yeah.
8-0 when he scores 18. He had 15 tonight. And if he had 18, they would have won.
Larry, what are your thoughts on the fact that one thing that puzzled me, and I want to shift gears here to Steve Kerr for a second. On that foul at the end that they called, you said they called it a Kuminga, the one that Jalen Green.
And it was a foul. I saw it.
But why not challenge it?
Well, absolutely. Why not challenge it? Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure you can challenge that. So why didn't you?
I don't get that at all. They were saying
either.
it. Why not challenge it? I would have challenged it.
That's a huge. I mean, I don't know why we didn't think of that until just now. But would you want to hear from Steve Kerr post game?
Yeah.
Here's Steve Kerr talking about the loose ball foul at the end. Something tells me he's going to be blasting the refs in this. This is courtesy of KNBR Radio, Larry's current home. Long time. How many years have you been with KNBR, by the way? Like, what is this? Are you at 30 years yet? I mean, I know there's some breaks in there. It's kind of like a long relationship with some breakups, but altogether, are you at 30?
My first year there was 1943.
You're aging phenomenally, brother. Yeah,
yes,
that's bravo.
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Oof, you're in your like hundreds now, in your 90s.
No, it was 1997 the first year I walked in there.
Okay, all right, bravo. Well, and again, people continue to every weeknights from 6 to 7, talking Niners primarily. Well, courtesy of KNBR. Here is Steve Kerr talking about that end of game situation, which was just ugly. There's no way to spin it.
80 feet from the basket with the game on the line. I've never seen that. I think I saw it in college one time, 30 years ago. Never seen it in the NBA. That is, I mean, unconscionable. I don't even understand what just happened. You know, loose ball, diving on the floor, 80 feet from the basket of the game. That's how you officiate, especially because the game was a complete wrestling match. You know, they didn't call anything. Steph Curry got hit on the elbow, plain as day on a jump shot, just clubbed right on there, no call. So you've established you're just not going to call anything throughout the game. It's a physical game. We're going to call it a loose ball foul on a jump ball situation with guys diving on the floor with the game on the line. This is a billion-dollar industry. You got people's jobs on the line.
Yes.
I am stunned. I am stunned. I give the Rockets credit. They battle back. They play great defense all night. But I feel for our guys.
He's right about all that, Larry. Even though they're excuses.
Let me just right there. That is just fantastic.
He's right.
That is just vintage, classic, on point Steve Kerr eviscerating the shitty NBA refs for being shitty.
Can I impersonate the ref?
That is it. Steve calls it out, and he just said it beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. I mean, I wish I had said that myself earlier in this live stream. Yeah, I mean, that kind of a cheap call decides the game. To me, I don't care because it's a regular season NBA, and, you know, I mean, come on. There's so many of these games. If you're the best team, there is no call in December that ever cost a team a title or anything. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever. It is what it is. The tickets are expensive. Let's go have a beer post game and talk about it. If nothing else, it gives you something to talk about. But yeah, that's amateur reffing. And we said it. I mean, the one thing that I love that I said earlier that Steve just mentioned there, the inconsistency in the reffing in this game, it's like establish some consistency and let the guys know how you're going to call it. And then be consistent. And you were letting this game, they let guys get hacked all night long.
But
then
Larry,
they called that.
Larry, I call the consistent game.
Yeah,
it was consistent, Larry. I don't know what Steve Kerr is talking about.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, I think Kerr absolutely is going to get fined for that. And
you're damn right.
Joe Lacob is going to pay that fine. And you know what? God bless Steve Kerr. Because you know what? That is the truth. We needed to hear the truth.
I called the great game, Larry.
This ref officiating crew and that moment, it seriously was CYO.
I disagree, Larry. It was a fair game. It was a fair foul. And Steve Kerr's out of his goddamn mind. I'm Bill Kennedy. And that was a good game. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right. Anyways, that's Bill Kennedy right there, in case people are wondering. the man responsible for that ridiculous call. No, Steve Kerr was right. That was just awful. That was stupid. That was awful. Super chat. Curtis Aldretti drops.
Is it that complicated to do what Steve said? Which is, you're looking at the situation. Okay, so you call whatever you call. Okay, even if you called what they called, then that's why you have an officiating crew, and you huddle, and you talk about it, and you say, do we want to end the game on open? We've called the game this way all night. Do we want to end the game on this foul way away? I don't want to hear any more of Bill Kennedy.
No more. You don't want to hear me anymore?
No, I don't want to hear any more of Bill Kennedy. Seriously. No more Bill Kennedy. And if I were you, I'd retire your Bill Kennedy act. We're good.
Carson Taylor in the chat.
It's just so bad. I mean, it's just amateur hour. Why have the game decided? It's like, what you don't ever see when you go to an NBA game? You never see anybody show up wearing the officials' jerseys.
No, say that again one more time.
No fans ever wear the officials' jerseys.
No, of course not. Of course not. No one's going there to see
because
them.
nobody cares about the officials.
No.
So stop injecting yourself into the game. Give them a timeout and let the players decide the game. I mean, there's somebody who paid like $2,000 probably to sit courtside to have that finish. That can't be what the NBA wants. I don't want to hear.
They're coming to see me, Larry. They're coming to see me.
No more Bill Kennedy.
Sorry, I had to just do that one more time. Bill, you're right. Again, I want robots. If artificial intelligence is going to bring value to our society, start with refs. Okay, I don't need AI to make pictures for me or art for me. I need AI to wash my dishes, and I need AI to officiate basketball games. That's where AI could help the world, not with making photoshopping. That's who cares about that. Yeah, this was a joke, but
I mean, Golden State was held to 37 points in the first half because Houston was playing super aggressive on their red court, and it was. I mean, the Warriors. Look at the box score. The Warriors had by quarter. The Warriors only had one good quarter. Warriors had 18 points in the first quarter, 19 points in the second quarter, and 21 points in the fourth quarter. The only good quarter they really had was a 32-point third quarter.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, it was like Hack City and very physical, very up and down, very kind of disjointed, all kinds of, it was a violent game tonight. And then all of a sudden, the ticky-tack.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
But the real story is the Warriors blew a 6-point lead with 2 minutes to play, again, because they can't finish. And Kuminga missed 4 free throws, and Payton, lost his mind. And the foul at the end was a total joke.
And the offense was virtually non-existent. You had 3 players total scoring in double figures. Kuminga with 20, Steph with 19. Buddy Hield thankfully did show up tonight, at least in the second half. He had 15, and then that's it. And the 90 points total is not going to cut it. I know the Rockets have a good defense, but a lot of those shots were pretty wide open, and they just weren't falling in. Like for example, Kyle Anderson playing 3 minutes 55 seconds. Trace Jackson-Davis played just 15 minutes and 7 seconds. Like, you don't think they could have gotten a few extra buckets with some size in there, like a few putbacks, a few, layups, like, the high.
They held their own on the glass, but they got destroyed points in the paint.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
By the way, Jabari Smith played almost 38 minutes.
Like, why is Draymond?
He's 6'10".
Yeah,
he had 1 rebound.
Why is Draymond Green starting at the 5 again? Two games ago, we were talking about Draymond Green was literally saying, I don't mind coming off the bench. I don't mind helping out the second unit, staying fresh for the end. 2 games later, he's a starting center for this team again. This is Steve Kerr can deflect. He deflected beautifully there to turn the focus entirely on the refs who were egregious, but it's inexcusable. The rotations are inexcusable. By the way, I want to give some love.
But Draymond's also a distributor. I mean, Draymond had 4 assists. He does make the ball move. He does make the right play. There's a lot of reasons to play Draymond Green. I mean, I understand the plan was to bring him off the bench, but I think Draymond Green is always going to be the answer to whatever Steve Kerr feels like the team lacks if he's not starting.
But my point is, I thought we were done with this experiment. And again, I cannot believe that we're constantly still experimenting. I think that's egregious in and of itself. But why is Draymond starting at the 5? I thought that was an experiment we're done with. They're playing a Houston Rockets team who has Alperen Sengun and Jabari Smith Jr. Those are big dudes. And you're responding to that with Draymond and Kuminga? Like, make that make sense. I understand that Kerr's obsessed with the read and react and with beating teams with speed. And dude, come on, man. Come back to reality, please. The NBA has changed since 2014. I don't understand this aversion to size here in 2024-5. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. And tonight was very frustrating.
Well, how about just simple? I mean, I don't mind starting Green, but I mean, how about starting Trace
4?
Jackson Davis?
That's what I'm saying. At the 4,
Gary Payton.
Start him at the 4 is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like don't make him your sole big guy out there. All 6'6" of him like that. I know he's got the long wingspan. I know he's fantastic. Make him your center at the end of the game, not the start of the game. I mean, these are human beings, man. Larry, you bring up constantly that Steph is 36 and Draymond is 34. Why is a 34-year-old your starting center? His body's breaking down, and you're putting him out there with the biggest dudes on the planet. None of this makes sense, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous. By the way, the chat, because Carson Taylor is dropping some money for us, and I can shrink the size of these chats a little bit. But what are your thoughts on this, Larry? Carson Taylor for $4.99 saying, "Hear me out. Trade Moses Moody, who they could have used tonight as well, and DeAnthony Melton's expiring for Colin Sexton of the Utah Jazz. Or what is Bam Adebayo's availability? I can answer that now. He's not available.
A wild left turn right there.
Yeah, that is. Or maybe Corey Kispert and Jonas Valanciunas with the Wizards. Now you're talking. I don't think the Wizards would trade Corey Kispert. He's young. He represents the future of the team. But Jonas Valanciunas is a possibility. Yes, that is a maybe there. And he says, don't trade Wiggins. What are your thoughts on that, Larry?
Well, I mean, I like Colin Sexton. He's instant energy and offense, but I don't know if I would want to make that move. I mean, he's not the first guy that I'd want to get. That's for sure. What was the other one?
And then, well, I think that was it because
Bam. Bam. Yeah, go get Bam. Yeah, I like.
Yeah,
it.
He's not. Look,
I want Bam.
I understand your intentions, but Bam Adebayo is not someone that Miami Heat are going to move. And then here's the problem with.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Colin Sexton. The problem is you're dealing with Danny Ainge, and Danny Ainge. The moment I read that report 2-3 months ago that the New York Knicks, before they traded for Karl Anthony Towns, they tried to get Walker Kessler, and Danny Ainge's response was, "Give me 2 first-round picks for him." Hang up the phone. Like, you're not giving up 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler. So imagine what Colin Sexton could cost you. Danny Ainge is just, dude, he's out of his mind. Like, I don't think you can make deals with him. I wouldn't mind Colin Sexton, but I don't think the Jazz are just giving him up. Carson Taylor is also adding another $4.99. Thank you, except for the same one. So you just spent Carson. Come on, man. Don't waste your money, brother. You just spent $10 on the same chat twice. I don't want you to waste your money. So, but yeah, he's also adding don't trade Wiggins. Larry, are you in the don't trade Wiggins camp, or would you be okay trading Wiggins if you get back, say, Jimmy Butler? I don't know.
I need to see this a third time before I can comment.
Okay, here, one more time. Number 3. There you go.
See Carson donate one more time for $4.99.
Make it $10 this time. Make it $9.
Carson, if you wouldn't mind. No. Could you imagine? I'm not a Corey Kispert fan, but I don't know why everybody loves him. He's kind of
he could be good. Athlete. He might be good someday.
He's a guy who gets his shot blocked with the game on the line. Valanciunas, I kind of like.
Yeah.
Don't trade Wiggs. No, do trade Wiggs. My God, this is absolutely the perfect situation. Wiggs has played himself from you can't trade him to now he's tradable, and now you don't want to trade him. Don't fall in love with Wiggs in his uptick. Go get something for him in his uptick.
Yeah. Good call.
I mean, they've been waiting for him to put it together so they could move him.
Good call.
Forever. That's probably why you're hearing, a lot of rumors around the Warriors now is that there probably are teams that want Wiggins.
That is a great call because his value has been the biggest issue for I don't know how many years now. The Warriors tried to trade him this last offseason as part of the Paul George deal, which fell through last minute. That's why he was held out of Team Canada, in case you folks forgot about that. So yeah, I'm with you. Look, this year he's playing great. So I wouldn't just trade. I wouldn't give him up for, some Cheetos, like some baked Cheetos. Like I wouldn't do that. But
you make a good deal now. Now go make a good trade.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, let's talk about some of the names out there because the ones I've heard this week.
So we're going there now. Okay, let's do it. We're talking.
I've heard LeBron James, and I don't want to talk about it for more than 30 seconds. No, I don't want LeBron James.
By the way, MJ, real fast, saying this is a bad look, Cy. Can you elaborate, please? Because I mean, if you're talking about my looks in general, the hobo thing, I'm aiming for that. I want to look like a homeless person. So no, I'm kidding. I should probably trim the beard. What are you talking about? Just elaborate, please. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Larry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just that comment was weird.
But LeBron James.
No.
I don't want LeBron James. It's just I've been rooting against LeBron James for so long that I can't get beyond that. And I don't want to see the Warriors help LeBron James get more rings. I don't need to see LeBron James cherry pick more rings than I've already seen.
Well, and that's just
he's a great player. He's an amazing, awesome. I'm not trying to pretend that I don't appreciate the greatness of his talent. He's tremendous player, and always has been. Really, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with his character either. I just don't want him on my team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I've been rooting against him. He's been a villain for so long. To me, LeBron James cost the Warriors. I know everybody likes to blame Draymond. I blame LeBron. So.
For stepping over him, baiting him?
Yeah, because I played a lot of pickup basketball.
Yeah.
And that is the universal sign of disrespect. And all Draymond did was give a reciprocal response to that, which is just the literally get off me. Every person, that's the least that would happen to you anywhere you played if you try to step over somebody like that. So, and to do it on TV, and I mean, it was a total sign of disrespect. And it wasn't like he stood up and cold cocked him. He just literally was like, get off me kind of a thing.
And Dre
did. That to me was a reciprocal response. And that was another situation that should not have gone that way. The refs should not have been involved in that situation. They should have.
Well, they weren't. Larry, they weren't. Kiki Vandeweghe got involved.
No, it was the 16th tech that keyed the suspension
after the game, Larry. It wasn't the officials that did that, though. It was Kiki Vandeweghe, who at the time was the head of officiating for the entire NBA. He did it retroactively. It was absurd. And Rick Barry's friends with Kiki Vandeweghe, and I've told Rick time and time and again, tell that son of a bitch, I want my fingers around his throat and I want to squeeze. And he laughs, but man.
I don't want LeBron. Okay, that's number one.
Well, can I add something to that real fast, Larry, before just real quick? This is, and the reason why I don't want LeBron, I agree with you 100% on everything you said, just to add to that. This is a season where it's a buyer's market for teams like the Warriors, meaning you can get assets out there for practically nothing. So if you're going to make a trade, do not give up good assets for other assets when you don't have to do that, right? Like the Nets will give you a lot for nothing. The Bulls will give you a lot for nothing. Wizards, maybe Hornets, maybe Jazz. Portland will give you a lot for nothing. So don't give up important players when you don't have to, is what I'm trying to say. So definitely no to LeBron, because they will still want Kumingas. They'll want players that in the future will help the Warriors. I'm not down for that. So I just want to add that point as well.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, don't trade Kuminga.
No, I don't think they will.
I mean, that's the first one. Don't trade Kuminga. After that, basically trade who you want. Trace Jackson Davis, I would keep him too, but
don't trade Kuminga. Anyone else is.
Anybody else,
Anyone else?
whatever, whatever.
All right.
No to LeBron, no to Jimmy Butler. Okay.
I love
These
it.
guys, no ancient. I don't want the ancient retirement party where you're giving away young, assets like Kuminga and Moody and pods and picks and all this stuff for old guys who are going to literally retire within like 2 years. No to LeBron, no to Jimmy Butler. Now, Brooklyn's interesting because Brooklyn is just trying to sell off pieces and restart. So they'll want Melton's $12.8 million expiring contract. So that's exciting. I would move Wiggins.
And they'd also want,
as I told you.
But here's the thing.
He's making $20 million, $22
Correct.
million.
Larry, real fast with Brooklyn, just to add to that, you don't have to give them Wiggins either. I don't want to give up Wiggins for nothing. Like, I'd rather trade, let's say with Brooklyn, for example, you can trade Melton's expiring, you can trade GP2's expiring, and those two contracts by themselves can get you two pieces back. So you can get Dennis Schroeder and Cam Johnson, right? And you'd have to probably include a third piece, but Kevon Looney is another expiring deal. I don't think Brooklyn would want Andrew Wiggins just because he's still owed like another $60 million after the season, or maybe more than that. But they're going to be wanting expiring deals. So like you said, Melton, fantastic. GP2, fantastic. And he's making about $9 million this year. Those two combined are valued at $22 million that you can ship to Brooklyn and get back whoever you want. You don't have to include Wiggins is what I'm trying to say. Like, I wouldn't trade him for nothing is my point.
But I mean, as far as, Cam Johnson's a 6'8" guy who's just such a pure shooter. There's no question I would want him. He is exactly the kind of piece that would make them an incredibly explosive team.
Yes, sir.
Dorian Finney-Smith is a really, really good basketball player, very physical. And then Schroeder is just, I think he's a true point guard. I mean, he's a point guard. He can shoot it a little bit. He's really long. He's really athletic. But he's a point guard. He's not, Podziemski is a smart basketball player, but he's not a point guard, really. And he's not really a two guard because he doesn't shoot it well enough. So it's like he's kind of a combo. And at the end of games, it's like Podziemski, he hit a big shot tonight, but if he doesn't hit from the perimeter, he's worthless because he can't take it off the dribble and really finish inside without getting blocked. So it's just he's smart, he's aggressive, and he can rebound, but he's not a offensive player in the fourth quarter. So you have him on the floor, and you want to finish with Draymond, who's also not much of an offensive player. It's just where are you getting your offense from in the fourth if they're all over Steph?
Well, again, currently, and I've been having this discussion a lot, Larry, in terms of the identity of the Warriors and how you define that, at least to me, is who are you finishing games with? Like, who's winning games for you? And that's part of the reason why I hate this experimentation at the end of games where Kerr's trying to be like this mad scientist, like, I'm smarter than you. I'm going to out-substitution you. And, dude, that rarely, if ever, works. It cost Popovich a championship. It's ridiculous. And the identity of this Warriors team, from what I see, in terms of what will win you a possible championship if they make a trade to get the important fifth piece. But right now, Steph, Dre, Wiggins, Kuminga. That, like, I feel like you can finish a game with that in the lineup, and then who the fifth piece is. If Buddy Hield is hot, you can survive with him. I don't like Podziemski finishing games, period. Like, I don't get that. I don't know why Kerr keeps putting him in there in these pivotal situations when he has never shown that he can deliver, at least rarely. That's where the trade, I think, comes in. And again, for me, Vucevic is the guy, if you can get him. Cam Johnson would be phenomenal as a fifth piece because he can shoot the three. So that's what I'm looking at. Like, so when you talk about the end of games, who can help Steph? Well, Wiggins is shooting 43% from deep this year. So I don't mind him taking those shots. He's proven himself. Wiggins is proving himself day by day. I mean, he led the team in scoring tonight. They need that fifth piece, though. They need one more player that can be that definitive fifth piece to close games. I don't think they have that right now. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on what I said?
They definitely need another big time shot maker that they can lean on in the fourth quarter. They need a finishing lineup scorer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, I'd love Cam Thomas and Cam Johnson. If you could get Cam Thomas, I love Cam Thomas. I mean, to me, he's a scorer. He's just a hard guy to defend. He's a little bit of a wild card, but man, he's exciting. To me, you get the shooter and Cam Johnson and the scorer and Cam Thomas. I mean, that would make them
sign me up.
I'm all about that. I got a great Warrior trivia question for you.
I love trivia. Real fast, Digital Drew is asking, can the Warriors get Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls? And that is probably the one player the Bulls will not give up. I know they like him. He's young. You can get pretty much anyone else on the Bulls, but not Kobe White. And what is your trivia? I love Warriors trivia, man. I'm ready if you are.
All right, here we go. Buddy Hield, I don't know if you saw this, became the 17th player with 2,000 threes made.
Did not see this.
17th player.
Okay.
One, can you name the 16 players that have made 2,000 threes? And then how many of them can you name? And did you know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players of the 17, 6 players of the 17 that have been property of the Golden State Warriors?
So 6 of the 17 greatest three-point shooters in terms of volume are current or former Golden State Warriors. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Or
property of.
The all-time three-point thing is always weird to me for a couple of reasons. One is the NBA didn't have the three-point shot until 1980 or 81. So you have all these players,
all kinds of great shooters. I mean,
yeah.
Then you have an era where the greatest shooters didn't take. I mean, Bird is not on this list.
And that too.
Where's Mark Price? Mark Price.
Michael Jordan.
Where's Ricky Pierce and all those?
Jordan
they just shooting, take that many threes.
Yeah, and Jordan will be shooting threes all day, every day. If it had occurred to anyone back then, hey, you could just shoot threes all day. It is weird. It took so long for that realization. It is really weird. It took so long. But anyways, so the 16.
It's amazing that nobody back then, just with a bad team, didn't just try to just.
It's
shoot.
Weird. You're right. Well, why?
You know what? Really bad. Why don't we do this? Why don't we're just going to take tons of threes and let's see if it works. You know what I mean? And what if it? It's like nobody tried it. I mean,
it is weird. It is weird. I think my theory on that, Larry, is that no team had good enough shooters to just keep doing it like the Warriors did. Because percentages were low back then. And I just don't think the patience was there to keep doing it to increase those percentages. But I do think Larry Bird would be like an all-time king if that realization had hit sooner. It is weird. I'm with you. It is bizarre that we were watching games for decades and it didn't hit any of us. That all you have to do is just keep heaving threes and you'll outscore the opponent. It is bizarre.
I mean, there's Buddy Hield's on the list of the 17 players with 2,000 threes. But Chris Mullin isn't. You know what I mean?
Is Morgan Stewart's 4 right there? Are those on the list? KD, Clay, Steph, and Buddy Hield?
Kerr, what'd you say? KD,
Durant,
Steph,
Klay Thompson. Yeah.
Klay Thompson, Buddy Hield. Those are 4, but the Warriors have 6.
And then Yadamine is adding some other names. So Chris Mullin, I imagine, would be on the list, right?
No, he's not on the list.
Okay, because of the volume thing. He just wasn't putting that many up. He would be. That's crazy. Okay, so Gilbert Arenas?
No.
I wouldn't agree with Jay Rich either. There's Yadamine is saying Jason Richardson. I'm saying no to that.
Chat can get it. You think the chat can get it?
Well, I'm going to the chat first. I'm going to the chat first just to see if they have it. Okay, so we have 4 of the 6 Warriors, right? So Durant, Steph, Clay, Buddy Hield. So there's 2 other Warriors players who are among the 16 greatest three-point shooters,
right?
And
at one point or another were Warriors or property of the Warriors.
I'm gonna see if they. Well, no. That's a. Jesus, that's a hard one, man. I'm guessing these are names.
Chris Paul, no. Jason Kidd, no.
Is Antoine Jameson one of them?
No. Jason Kidd's close though. Jason Kidd finished his career with 1,988.
Baron Davis?
Nope.
Jeez, this is a good one. Ray Allen never played for the Warriors. Rick Barry, when he played, they didn't have the 3. Steve Kerr?
Somebody in the chat got one of them.
Really? I mean, not Pete Maravich. That's way too old. Someone in the chat got it? What the F? Harrison Barnes.
No. Harrison Barnes? No.
Vince Carter, technically?
Vince Carter.
But that doesn't count. That's such
Vince
a
Carter.
loose.
I said Warriors or property of the Warriors.
All right, that's a loose one. I mean, you might as well say Kobe Bryant was once
Carter.
a Charlotte Hornet if we're going to go that. All right, and
no,
then okay,
no,
he said there's one more.
That's not true because the Warriors drafted Vince Carter and he wore a Warrior jersey and hat and
on
they
the
traded
stage
him that night.
On the stage. Well, I think the Hornets
but
did draft
there's still one more. There's still one
Mitch
more.
Richmond?
No.
There's still one more. Jesus.
You're gonna have to really. The person who gets this last one really knows his ball.
Okay, can you give a hint? And the question I'm going to ask for the hint is:
He once went for 50.
And it's not Antoine Jameson.
50 plus.
And it's anyone in the chat got it? No one in the chat.
Penny Hardaway, no. Tim Hardaway, no.
It's not Bernard King.
Somebody said Bernardo King. No, it's not. It's not Bernardo King or Bernard King.
Bernardo.
Yes.
Oh my
ding,
God.
Ding, 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 ding. Sean
there it is.
Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, because he briefly played
Look
for the
at
Warriors. I forgot all about that. You're right.
Sean.
That was a dark year, dude, that he was on the Warriors, by the way. That was one of those many years where you just kind of just push it out of your memory. Try to forget. It's like the Montego Cummings years like that.
He could score, man. By the way, here's the list in order.
Okay.
Curry, Harden, Ray Allen, Damian Lillard, Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller made this list. Klay Thompson, LeBron James, Kyle Korver, Vince Carter, Jason Terry, Paul George, Jamal Crawford, Kyle Lowry, Paul Pierce, Kevin Durant, Eric Gordon, and now Buddy Hield.
Wow. That's crazy. Congrats to Buddy Hield.
What a weird list. It's like they're great 3-point shooters, but it's like a new thing. And so it's like all these great shooters that we know of, basically.
Very, very nice trivia.
On there.
Very good trivia, Larry. That was a good one. That was a very good one. Henry Braxton in the chat. We didn't address this. I know I showed it for a brief second saying, what do you think about Vucevic? We've talked about a lot. I don't know where you got the 21 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, unless that is what he's averaging on the year. Let me look that up because that is not what he put in. Last game he played. Oh, wait, no, it is.
That's his average?
Holy shit. No, it is. Yes. Nikola Vucevic on the year is averaging 21 points a game, 9.8 rebounds per game, shooting 58.7% from the field. And get this, on top of all that, shooting 47.4% from 3. 47.4%, 85.2% free throw shooting. Just give me this kid. What are we doing here?
I loved him in Orlando when he was in Orlando. Yeah, I mean, this guy was an all-star.
Yes.
I mean, this guy's made the all-star team at least once, right? Maybe twice.
Oh, my God.
He's a big guy who can shoot the rock. I'll tell you, the trade I would try to make if I was the Warriors with Chicago, and Digital Drew sounds like he watches some Bulls hoops out there because I know he's out in Chicago. Kobe White would be nice. I know the Bulls want to move Zach LaVine, and LaVine is, went to UCLA, and you bring him out to the West Coast. But to me, the guy that I would want Vucevic, and then I would want Josh Giddey. Because Giddey, to me,
someone
is a playmaker. That. What's that?
Someone suggested that yesterday on the program that they also throw in, would you trade Pajemski for Giddey?
In a second.
Love
in a freaking second.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's
done deal. Done. In a second. I mean, first of all, Giddey, there's totally different deal. Giddey, you may say, well, he's soft or this or that. There's people that have their own rips on him. But he's a 6'8" guy who's kind of a 1, kind of a 2. He's got great handle. He's got vision. He's an on-the-ball 6'8" player who can create. And he had 11 assists in his last game. His last line was 9 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and a block shot in 32 minutes. So he's just, I like him, I like the idea of in Steph's twilight years, getting the ball in a bigger kind of, point guard type situation and let Steph play off the ball more. I think that's the better plan. And also, I love Vucevic. And if you could get, Steph off the ball, Vucevic, now you've got 2 more shooters in a big kind of jumbo point guard sort of situation, setting them up. That's what I would try to do. I like Gideon. I like Vucevic. And I would even try to grow the deal. There's other guys on this team for the Bulls I like as well. I like Javon Carter. He's a super gritty backup point guard who's super tough.
It's a random name, but it's a good one.
Joe loves Duarte. I mean, he literally pounded the table when Duarte went to Indiana.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't know if he still likes him because Duarte's the bloom has faded a little bit off his rose. But you know what? I don't know. I mean, I like Duarte as well. I mean, I think Duarte's kind of wasting away on the Bulls bench getting DNPs right now. So I don't know. To me, there's a deal to be made there. The Bulls never make trades, so it's like really hard to
normally
make
yes.
projections.
You're right.
But if you could get Vucevic and Giddey, that's where I'd go.
Well, and the thing is, the Bulls years past, in their minds, were contenders, even though they just kept finishing 500. They had DeMar DeRozan. The moment DeRozan left, the team signaled they're ready for a rebuild. The problem is nobody is interested in Zach LaVine, like nobody. And that contract is scaring people.
Contract. The contract's ridiculous.
Awful. Vucevic has not had a lot of interest for 2 reasons. One is age. Which again, if the Warriors get him, it's a short-term thing. It's you're trying to win a championship this year, but also his defense.
I mean, how old is he?
About 34, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, but he's one of the most skilled big men in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who's still playing at a really high level. Yeah, he can't play major minutes, but the minutes that he does play are going to be major effective.
Agreed. And here's the thing with Josh Giddey. Steve Kerr loves him. I've said this on my show repeatedly, just in case people in the audience are unfamiliar with the story, though. Back in the 2021 draft, the Warriors were set to draft Josh Giddey. They thought he would fall to the Warriors at number 7. They did not expect Kuminga to fall to them. And then Giddey was taken number 6 by the OKC Thunder. Which, and I always like if I ever could sit down with Bob Myers, that would be one of the first questions I'd ask him. What happened in that day when Kuminga fell unexpectedly? And then Giddey got drafted because Giddey was Kerr's guy. Kerr wanted Josh Giddey. I'm so glad in hindsight that did not happen. But pertaining to the discussion now, he would sign off on that. I think he would, man, because he wanted Josh Giddey in the 2021 draft. He's bigger than Podziemski. What is he, like 6'7", 6'8"?
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different deal.
Yeah, it is a totally different deal. Yeah, and even though, as Richard said, he has his issues. Why is Larry your picture on Richard's profile? Do you see that on the screen? Is that you? That's you, right? What is going on there, man? Richard, what are you doing, dude? That's kind of bizarre. That's a little freaky there. I'm gonna hide that. I don't like that. If someone did that with me, I would not be a fan of that. Which of course means someone's gonna do it now. But anyway,
that's just not right.
That's creepy. That's creepy.
That's just not right.
Richard, come on, buddy. What is going on here? But yeah, I anyways, I forgot what we were talking about. Yeah, Digital Drew. Yes, the Blazers are looking to sell, and Robert Williams III would be my ideal target. Jeremy Grant, you could also get for practically nothing. You just have to bring that contract along with him. But imagine this lineup, Larry. Imagine like a closing lineup of Draymond Green as your small ball 5, which works as your closing lineup. Jeremy Grant as your small ball 4, Kuminga, Wiggins, Steph. Sign me up. I wouldn't mind that. You just have to be willing to take that contract on, which is a borderline nightmare. But what are your thoughts on that?
Jeremy Grant's a high-end player. I like him.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Are we good, Larry?
Kuminga or Giddey. Would it be? I mean, it's not like you would. I wasn't thinking about moving Kuminga in the deal.
No.
I don't want to move Kuminga. I mean, every time people ask for Kuminga, I would just say, no.
Hell.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you.
Hell to the no. That's a
how many this was the question I got the other day, and we were kind of bandying about down in Niner Media Land. Some of the writers were saying, how many legitimate NBA title contenders are there this year? And I said, well, that's a good question. I would say OKC, as far as who can actually win the NBA title.
It's a good question. Let's start with the West. Go ahead.
I think it's OKC. And
what about Dallas?
I was going to say Denver. OKC,
even still, okay.
I'd say OKC and Denver would be the two that I would think of. And in the East, I would think of Boston and Cleveland. So
not New York.
No, not New York.
Interesting.
No, not New York.
Oh, I think the Knicks are an absolute contender. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I got to watch more of my Knicks.
No, I mean, part of the look. If you look at the standings, the Knicks are 15-10.
The Knicks are a contender for the finals.
Yeah, I think so. I think they will be. They made some huge changes this offseason. They're probably going to make another move. But you look at their 5 right now. I mean, I love Jalen Brunson. I think he is an elite NBA player.
I like Josh Hart.
I like Josh Hart. Karl Anthony Towns is starting to come around, and he's putting up some huge numbers for the Knicks and winning efforts now. I like that team. They, what's his name? OG Anunoby is a solid player, especially defensively. They just don't have the Knicks and the Nuggets both have issues with depth. But I can see the Knicks making another move. Mikal Bridges is on the Knicks. They've got a good team. I would count them as a contender.
Are they a true title contender? See, I think they're in that next tier. I have OKC, Boston, Cleveland, Denver, and so then to me, no. The teams like Dallas, Philly, Phoenix, Minnesota, the Warriors, maybe they're in that next tier. What's that?
What about the Suns as OU guys?
Yeah, Phoenix. They're in that next tier. Like if you catch them on the right night, you think title contender. But really, are they? I would say no. So I like Denver, OKC, Boston, Cleveland, and then after that, I've got to see.
Shea Boomin. I mean, Larry, how'd you forget about the Wizards? They're an absolute contender. All kidding aside, though, there was a report about a week and change ago. I think Mark Stein dropped this name that and I haven't touched on this yet, just because I don't know why I didn't. I just forgot that Kyle Kuzma is reportedly on the Warriors' radar. This was reported back on December 2nd. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't give up anything for it, but I wouldn't hate it. I think he would be an awesome 4 for this team, and then I don't know. What do you think about
San Francisco is sweater weather, and he had that sweater that was so memorable.
The worst look ever. I wouldn't hate Kyle Kuzma on the Warriors as your power forward. I would not hate that. I can understand if people find that underwhelming, but the dude was the 4th best player on a championship team. I mean, I don't want to write that off either, No,
he's good, man. Are you kidding me? He's a major talent. I liked him with the Lakers. He's just everywhere I watch him. I mean, he's a 6'10" guy who can play like a small forward and take it over and certain nights you catch the right game and you'd swear Kyle Kuzma is one of the great players in the league. I mean, especially if you catch him in the right game, because he has games that are just like, what?
Yeah,
he has some monster games.
And Morgan Stewart in the chat, who seems to be overly focused on these individuals' defense. Relax on the defensive focus. First of all, the Warriors play a team-oriented defense, so even if you bring in someone that may or may not be a salve defensively, or Steve, I'm sorry, defensively, they're part of a system. So I don't think Vucevic, he's not a great defensive player, but in a system type defense like the Warriors play, as long as he is keeping up with his teammates, he'll be fine. Same goes for Kuzma. You've seen what happens when you overly focus on defense. Look at GP2; he's doing nothing for this team.
And also, defense is culture. Defense is culture. How hard do you play is a lot about your defense. How engaged are you mentally? That's a big part of your defense. The culture here is that guys are engaged and guys play hard, and so it's like at least they've got a good culture. Now, you may not have foot speed or agility or quickness. A lot of the times we're talking about guys that are have all that. They demonstrate all that athleticism and quickness. They just demonstrate it on the offensive end, and they don't play on the defensive end. But if your culture is, hey, we play defense here because we're going for a ring, you got Draymond Green, you got Steph Curry, you got Steve Kerr. Something tells me, they'll get the best out of whoever they get on the defensive end.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And Curtis Aldretti dropped 99 cents and just wrote nothing. So Larry will split that 50 cents each. Or
look at that. Take that to the
strip.
Take your 99 cents to the strip club.
Just throw change on the stage. I've always wanted
Can't
to
even get a freaking single here.
Just throw quarters.
Nothing worse than change.
Here's a dime. Robert.
Jing.
Take an eye out. You're like, oh, I'm out of here. I don't know who did that. I'm out. Robert.
I think you probably get kicked out by the bouncer
immediately.
If you change.
Immediately. Like,
you can't throw change at Tabitha on the main stage. I
don't think you can throw ice. I think even ice would get you kicked out. So yeah. So change would
definitely not change. You're not throwing change. This isn't this isn't pro basketball in Greece. You can't just throw change.
Oh my God. Remember that one player the Warriors drafted just a couple years ago in the second round? He came out of what was that guy's name? Remember that
Jacob Evans?
No. That was back in like 2018. He was a first round pick. This guy was a second round pick. They spent some money to move up like 5 places to draft
Justinian Jessup?
No.
Smiley Geach?
He joined the team right after the championship. I want to know if anyone in the chat knows who I'm talking about. I'm blanking on his name, but not just
what position?
I bring him up because he loved the strip clubs, man. Like he was this guy, and he's out of the league now. I hope someone can. I'm totally drawing a blank on his name. Like Bob Myers was super high on him. Rollins.
Pat McCaw?
No, it wasn't Pat McCaw. It was the other guy, Rollins. I forgot his first name.
Rollins,
that dude loved the strip club.
From Act Toledo, I think he was from
Toledo. Exactly. Yeah, remember if we're split?
Ryan Rollins
loves the strip club. They didn't get arrested for like like larceny or theft or
at the strip club.
Not at the strip club. It was a separate incident. But his love affair with strip clubs, I think, was a warning sign of things to come. And I just remember Ryan Rollins. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to judge him. I'm not going to judge him either. I mean, how old is he? Was what, 18, 19, something like that when he got here?
20, 21, whatever he was.
No, he was even younger. Maybe. I interviewed him over at 95.7. He's a great kid. So, he likes cheetahs.
Nothing wrong with that. Not judging. Just stating. Yeah. Just informing. That's all I'm doing here.
Let's not judge.
I'm just informing. No judgment at all. I will never judge people.
No judgment on this show, damn it.
Believe me, I am the last person who will ever judge anyone for loving strip clubs. It's just if you're a professional athlete, I don't know if you want to be synonymous with one, but I'm not judging. I'm definitely not judging. Like I could tell you this as a fact. James Harden loves strip clubs. Like he is rolling around with suitcases full of ones. That dude, Larry, you have friends like this, right? People who can party their ass off
at strip clubs,
anywhere. Like just drink and party till like 5 a.m, and then at 8 a.m, they're up and ready to go. Like that's
James Harden is a Niner fan.
That's James Harden. James Harden's the guy who can booze till like 5 a.m, and then
Did
at
I ever
8
tell you my James Harden story?
No, I'd love to hear it though.
Oh, okay. So I'm at the final Niner game, and
last year?
No, the final game at the Stick.
Oh, the
final Niner game at the Stick. Niners
Bowman
against the Falcons, I think it was.
Yeah, okay. And Bowman had that interception return, right?
And the old at the Stick, if you wanted to cover the media deal, you had to leave the press box and walk down on the field, and then you walked into the locker room from the field. Okay, so we're standing on the field down on the sideline, and Bowman picks off the pass, and he's running down the sideline. And I'm standing there on the sideline, and I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm watching this. And here he comes. He's coming right at us. He runs right by us. As he's like running right by us, I kind of take a step back, and I bump into a guy, and I turn around, and it's James Harden. And he
was at the Stick?
And we high-fived because he's a Niner fan. He's like, yeah. We high-fived right there as Bowman scored the final touchdown, and the Niners won on the Monday Nighter.
That was historic.
The
I vividly remember that.
Final game
Yeah.
of Candlestick. I bumped into James Harden and high-fived with him.
Why is he a Niners fan? That's so random. Like, and
I don't
poor
know.
Niners
Good
minded
question.
in the chat.
I was
saying
shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Niner fan. Hardcore Niner fan. Hardcore Niner fan. That's the other thing, too. I said, "Hey, you a Niner fan?" I go, "Are you a good?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Just kind of a Niner fan?" He's like, "No, man. I'm a Niner fan." He was like fired up.
You know, before we wrap the show up, Larry, first of all, Hopper 830 saying Ryan Rollins was a klepto. You're judging. And yeah, that's fair. He went to jail. His career's over because of that. It's legal to go to a strip club.
His career's not over, right?
What's up?
His career's not over.
It pretty much is. It's I mean, he got arrested for shoplifting.
He's on the roster.
Ryan Rollins?
Yeah.
Whose roster is he on? Oh, I gotta look that up.
Yeah, he's on somebody's roster.
I thought he got banned.
His career's not only not over, he's in the league.
I thought for sure he got banned. You're right. You might be right.
I thought.
Oh my God, you are right. He is with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, he's
unbelievable. Well, bravo, kid.
His career is not over. His career's.
You're right.
Premature death reported today.
My bad on that. You're absolutely right. I thought he was good as done. He's played 11 games of the series, averaging.
He might come back. They might have him back.
He's averaging 6.5 minutes per game, shooting 50% from three. That's pretty good. Makes Bob Myers look good. I mean, the Warriors give up cash to trade up and get him. And then Ugaz bringing up Jordan Bell. Remember when he played that prank on Mike Brown, charging charging? What was he doing? Like charging? According to Ugaz, he was charging hotel porn to Mike Brown's hotel room.
Spectrovision towards Mike Brown. No, but didn't he like order some room service on Mike Brown's card or something?
Yes, yeah.
But he also ran through the crowd with the Hennessy. But I'll tell you, Jordan Bell was one of my favorite Warriors. I mean, this guy threw the ball off the backboard to himself to like reverse jam in the middle of a game.
Yeah, he was a freak.
He just was like, he was doing stuff that nobody would even try. I loved it. He was so like, just like, you know, I don't even know how to describe it really, but he was fun to watch, man.
And the good news for Ryan Rollins, according to Sean McCray in the chat, that the lap dance industry is booming in Wisconsin. So
this is a man who, as far as I'm concerned, is in the freaking know. Okay, that guy, nobody knows more than Sean McCray.
And I'm never judging strip clubs, Larry. I was part of, once upon a time, the John London Not Just Sports show on mornings for 3 years on KNBR, where we'd literally every Friday bring strippers from the Gold Club down the street into the studio. And I forged some wonderful relationships from that experience. So I will never judge anybody for going to strip clubs. Anyway, real fast. And I do wonder, yes, in case you're wondering, like,
it's not that I have nothing to say. It's that there's nothing I want to say.
Fair enough. That's absolutely, it's part of smart.
How about that?
Actually, that's why you are the king of sports media in the Bay Area.
But all I will say is I've been to Pandora's Box, 2-drink minimum, all drink $7.95.
So Morgan Stewart brings up a team we forgot to mention, and before we go, since we talk trades, I want to mention them so we cover all our bases, and that's the Toronto Raptors. And the reason why I feel the need to bring them up is because they do have some players on that team, one of which I am very fond of. You could get him for practically nothing as well. His name is Bruce Brown. He's not a big, but the reason why I'm high on him is two reasons. One, he would fit perfectly in that closing lineup, in that closing five, and he wins you championships, dude. The guy can play. The guy, I feel like he would be perfect. He would be perfect on the Warriors. Vucevic is my ideal pick. That would be my backup, largely because of Steve Kerr's aversion to playing bigs. I don't know if he'd have an aversion to playing Bruce Brown. There's other players on that team, too. Kelly Olynyk's on that team. Chris Boucher is on that team. Jakob Poeltl's on that team. What do you think about all that stuff, Larry? And Davion Mitchell, who I really like, is also on that team.
I like Davion Mitchell. I mean, Davion Mitchell to me is kind of a 6-foot version of Draymond Green. I mean, he's just smart as hell, tough as hell. Like one of these guys, it's like his toughness is so he's such a tough guy that it actually bleeds into basketball. It's like it's crazy. Now he doesn't shoot. I'd like to see him smooth out that shot. But I love the idea of isn't his nickname Off Night?
Yes.
I mean, that's awesome.
Davion Mitchell's. And explain why.
Because like if he's guarding you, you're having an off night. I mean,
Exactly.
That's it.
Won a championship in
and
college.
I loved him at Michigan. Yeah, I mean, I loved him at Michigan State. This guy, or at Baylor, I guess.
Baylor,
right?
yeah.
Baylor. I mean, he was, but I mean, he's a dog, man. I mean, this guy would have been an awesome NFL corner. And he's just tough, and he's just strong, and he's tenacious. And to me, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to have limitations, and almost every guy on the bench does, give me guys who are just super tough. I'll take some super tough guys, and who have limitations to their game. And he would be a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
Kyle McKieran saying he's been to 2 of the gnarliest strip clubs in America. Number 1, Heartbreakers. What a name. And number 2, Band. Oh my God, dude. You went into a place called Band-Aids.
This isn't for a joke. It was wild. I'm so glad my wife isn't seeing this text while she gets ready for bed. LOL. Kyle, your wife is a bigger fan of the Krug show than you are.
Oh man. So
she is seeing that. She's seeing that.
No. It's your full name. In case Kyle McKiernan, if anyone knows him, let his wife know that he went to 2 strip clubs in his life. One is
it's a miss. He typed that wrong. It's 22 strip clubs he's been to in his life. He says it's 2. I've been to 2 strip clubs in my life. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Band-Aids.
Sure. Yeah.
This is just Band-Aids.
The best one was when we were in Vegas. There was a strip club behind the Strat Hotel, and it was called The Office.
That's a better name than Band-Aids.
Well, it's awesome because you've got a bunch of receipts in your wallet or something from you keep spending all this money at the office. Why? What are you getting at the supplies, honey? We're getting supplies.
Oh my God! Digital
at the office. Digital Drew. I went to a strip club next to a trailer park just outside of a military base. Might have you beat. I walked in and doubled the teeth count in that whole building.
Larry, what is the sketchiest strip? I don't know, Larry, when we went to spring training that one year, were you with Chris Townsend and I when we decided to just quickly venture off and check out?
I have no idea what you're
I don't think you were. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, that was a pretty bad one too.
I have no idea.
I don't think you were. I actually don't think you were. So
good. Then,
you're
then
you're
I
safe.
have a reason to have no idea.
And Chris, if sorry for blasting you on that, we were just in and out for a brief second.
I'm sure Townsend likes to drive by as he's.
Yeah, that was my bad. Sorry, Chris Townsend. Mrs. Townsend, we literally left that place after 2 seconds.
Sorry to his adult daughters and their
my bad.
families.
Oh my god. Now okay. Now I feel bad. I'm feeling really bad now.
Townie on live
I'm
stream.
sorry, Townsend family. I'm sorry.
Just wrong, reckless.
I'm sorry. Have you talked to him lately? I missed it. He was.
Oh yeah. I talked to him.
You and him were like this, dude. Like you're still already.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
He is. Yeah, he's my guy. I love Chris.
Townie and I are going to do a Sunday night baseball show this year.
Good. I'm looking forward to that. I'm very much looking forward to that. Gilbert Apollo mentioning there's Alaskan bush hole in the wall here in Arizona. Oh my God. Oh, Kyle's wife is giving him the pass. She apparently.
My wife was like, wow, thank God for 16 years. She's like, whatever, and going to bed. Come on, Kyle, bring the spice back.
Oh my God. Are we done?
We've been done.
We've been done for a while.
We've been done. I think Robert Last has a super though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's hit that real fast. Where is it? Let's see. Is it right here?
Yeah.
Do we need more offense? Yes. Should we have gotten rid of James Wiseman and Jordan Poole? Probably. What do you think, Larry? I do agree. Steve Kerr has never developed a young player. So yes, he does have trouble doing that, developing players. What are your thoughts on that, Larry?
First of all, they just picked the wrong guy in Wiseman. He's a marshmallow. And as far as Jordan Poole, his whole equation in the Bay Area was bogging down. He was getting a big ego. He was turning off the stars of the team.
True.
He was more expensive than ever, strangling them on the cap. He was a one-dimensional gunner. He had fallen in love with another man's game and lost the love affair he had with his own game. And you say, well, what are you talking about? He thought he was a damn good player.
Yeah, he was.
Kind of had some Gilbert Arenas in him. He could have put it on the deck and go to the hole at will, and nobody could stay in front of him. And he was also a really like a 94% foul shooter at his apex. So that right there is an amazing combination. When you can beat people off the dribble at will and you're a 94% foul shooter, you're a super valuable player. Oh, except if you stop driving because you don't like being fouled, and then you pout and have a terrible relationship with the refs, so then you don't get any calls anymore. And then you decide that you're not going to beat people off the dribble because you'd rather kind of do what Steph does, which is pound a couple dribbles and take an unauthorized three from well beyond the arc when that ain't your game.
He thought it was.
And then it's like, yeah, it looks cool, doesn't it? But that ain't you. It's like, and nobody got in his face and told him what the color of the sky and the world that he was living in was. So it was like, okay, now you got this huge problem, this guy with all this delusion who's making a ton, who everybody fucking hates, who you're, and it's like, then you had to trade him for Chris Paul and then that was how to ruin your asset in like 2 moves. That was like the worst. And what's the best thing you can say about the whole thing? Well, they made moves and got out from underneath the money and
look, they won a championship.
You're the one who gave him the contract.
Right. I mean, they did win a championship with him. So, I mean, there was a positive with the Jordan Poole experience. And then unfortunately, and this is where I do think Steve Kerr should take some of the blame here for the way he handled that Draymond Green punch, because it divided that locker room. It was the first time where we really saw him playing favorites, right? It was the first time that began to become exposed here, where Kerr liked certain people more than others. And Draymond Green, in hindsight, maybe should not have gotten away with that. I mean, I know the ring night thing really complicated things. You couldn't suspend him and force him to miss a ring night. But regardless, I thought the Warriors butchered that. They could have handled that far better. With that said, and that incident led to Jordan Poole kind of just becoming independent and no longer coachable, because how can you possibly harp on the guy when you just sided with the guy who knocked him out in practice? And you're going to yell at him now in practice yourself and try to coach him? It ruined the whole thing. It ruined the year. That contract was clearly a mistake. The good news is they got out of it. It unfortunately took 2 years because you had to endure Chris Paul
and assets and money, and it was a gigantic fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just and they looked really bad, and then they have Paul come in, and then they let Paul go for what, cap relief or whatever, apron relief or whatever. It's the whole thing has just been kind of a zero situation.
Yeah,
for sure.
Big time. And then the Wiseman thing again. It was the
wrong guy. They should have taken Halliburton.
Well, what they really should have done, Larry, is trade up one spot and get Anthony Edwards. I mean, that was on the table. Minnesota wanted to make that trade. The Warriors literally scouted Edwards, had dinner with him, and then that was when Steve Kerr told them, "We don't like your work ethic." And then the Steve Kerr fans will say, "Well, that was the catalyst for Anthony Edwards upping his game," which, I mean, look, he would have figured it out regardless.
Anthony Edwards was awesome, and he was going to be awesome.
He was awesome, and I hate to this day that
they got the booby prize. They could have had LaMelo.
I was advocating for that, and I wanted the Warriors to draft him so bad. And
if it wasn't for LeVar, they probably would have taken LaMelo.
LaMelo.
LeVar. See, at the time, LeVar seemed like he was going to be a gigantic pain in the ass.
Absolutely right. Incredible, right? And now we never hear from him ever.
LeVar's never, yeah.
Why couldn't he be?
That guy did more to hurt his kid than he even realized.
Yeah,
he's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Gilbert Arballo, who writes, Ant-Man wasn't that great at Georgia. What? He was. There's a reason why he was the number one pick.
No, he was great. He just wasn't efficient. And there's a big difference. Young players are rarely efficient. His form on his shot was amazing.
Yeah.
His athleticism and his impact was instantaneous. It's just that as I said, he wasn't efficient. He didn't shoot good percentages and that kind of thing. But you could see it. It was all there. It was all there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So
that's why he went where he went.
Yeah, exactly. And with Wiseman, the other part of this that no one talks about anymore is that he did have a good rookie season. I mean, he was putting up close to 12 points a game, grabbing nearly 6 rebounds a game in limited minutes. Like, you could see potential there his rookie season. Then he gets hurt. Then he misses all of the next year. And then he's in his head. Like, he never had those hand problems in his rookie season.
And then good hands. He didn't have
but that wasn't a problem his rookie year. And then he comes back, and then it becomes an issue, which shows to me that was a mental thing. And he tears
just a marshmallow.
Yeah, he's a marshmallow. That's fair. Yeah, he is. He's too soft. Digital Drew is still scarred from Todd Fuller. You and me both. I mean, talk about.
Here was my Todd Fuller edict. I used to go with this back in the day on the radio. If a guy plays 4 years in the ACC and you've never heard of him, don't draft him.
That was the great Dave Twardzik, right? Was he the GM who stupidly took?
They
Todd
took him
Fuller?
over. Kobe Bryant.
Dave Twardzik, Jesus, like, what is that guy doing now? Anyways, all right. No, and 510 Steve, to this day, we still don't know who leaked the video of Draymond Green punching Jordan Poole. It remains a great mystery. It could have been leaked from the NBA headquarters in Secaucus. Is that how you pronounce it?
Secaucus.
Secaucus, thank you. In Secaucus, New York. I found out that it could have been leaked from there because all the practice feeds in the NBA, I don't know if this is a secret or not, but it's fed into like a server room in New York at Secaucus, and it could have come from there. That's so to this day, I don't know if we'll ever find that out, but somebody at TMZ knows. I think and the person who leaked it knows. I would love to know myself. Believe me, don't get me wrong. Anyways,
who leaked the tapes?
That's on the next episode of Krug and Cy.
Larry, who leaked the tapes?
Thank you, brother.
That does it. Go Niners. Get the Rams
result
tomorrow.
Tonight was unfortunate. It will not be Viva Las Vegas. I don't even know who the Warriors play next. I think they play. They next play
for days.
Saturday the next game because they were in the quarterfinals of the play-in. So their next game, according to what I'm looking at, is Sunday, December 15th. So they've got some days off, and they're going to host the Dallas Mavericks. That's their next game.
The Clay game. That's the next game. Yep.
Correct. Yeah. So that'll be your next game for the Warriors. I'm sure you'll get some coverage on both the Krug Show and on Golden Days. Larry, love you, man. Thank you as always. Are we good? Are we done?
We're done. We're done. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for supporting the Krug Show. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.